All right, now we're going to switch things up a bit and turn back to weather and our climate. The September we just finished, officially the 5th driest on record for the QCA. But this July was the 6th wettest on record. So what's going on with these wild swinging extremes? For that answer, we have meteorologist Andrew Stutzke joining us. Andrew, thanks for being here. I know you can't see the future, but were you surprised by these 2 months and how they shook out?
You know, I actually was, because we've been used to an influence of a longer term pattern like an El Nino that we had last winter coming into the spring. Those type of influences tend to kind of even things out, make things a little more uniform. That's not what we've seen at all. As El Nino went away this spring, we just started having these really wild fluctuations from being extremely wet and extremely active to now being extremely dry and nothing to talk about weather-wise around here.
Well, as a meteorologist, what do you think when you hear of two extremes like this, almost back to back?
It really is what I like to call a conundrum for a meteorologist, because we can look at the long-term patterns and we can get a general idea of what's going to happen, but these type of patterns really throw a significant wrench into what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So we had an El Nino this spring. That's usually pretty easy to forecast. Once that El Nino went away, that's when things got a lot more variable. There was not one thing that was really driving our weather pattern, especially recently. So that really makes things complicated, and it kind of makes you wonder, where are we going to go next? What's going to be the next big thing that's going to happen in the weather pattern around here?
So are weather patterns and climate patterns like this, one extreme to another, is this kind of a one-off, or is this something you might expect to see more of going forward?
Given our current conditions, this is something that we're absolutely going to expect at least for the next few months. There's a consistent signal that a weak La Nina is going to develop later this year, especially heading into winter. That should solidify our weather patterns a little bit more, make it a little less variable. But until then, I mean, like we've seen the end of September, extremely hot, extremely dry. We're likely going to go into a very warm October. We're likely going to continue to see these big, extremes and whiplashing, if you will, of temperatures for quite a while.
Well, you mentioned the word winter. I was going to bring that up a little bit later. What do these trends mean going into winter forecasting? What are you expecting?
Sure. So we know for sure weak La Nina, and we've been through a number of La Ninas here recently. In the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a number of them. And typically during a La Nina, you can expect colder than normal temperatures, especially on the back half of winter. Not necessarily at the start in December, but as you get into your January, your February, and we're also looking at more snow than usual as well. So I've been telling folks, if you've been in the mood for a good winter, you want lots of snow, you want lots of cold, this could be your winter. You're just gonna have to wait a little while for it.
Yeah, because we've had, 3 winters in a row where it's been almost no snowfall?
It's been lackluster, yeah. A lot of folks are just saying we don't get those good old-fashioned winters anymore. And I agree. This year, though, we'll see. It could be the difference.
All right, Andrew, wrapping up, going back to September, we just finished 5th driest on record. Do you even see any significant rainfall in the immediate forecast?
There is some turnaround, especially about the second week of October. There is some hope that we can get a little bit more activity in here, but it still looks like that dry pattern holds on. What we could really use is some kind of tropical system in the Gulf, get some of that moisture up here, but that's another wild card we're gonna have to kind of watch, but it still looks pretty dry to me.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely.
If you guys at home want to share this story, you can find our online version up at WQAD.com. Just click on the As Seen on TV tab at the top of the homepage.